Hello children and welcome back. We are going to study states of matter. Before this we have learned about the different kinds of food we eat. So let us recall. Sometimes we eat chocolates, pastries, vegetables, fruits. Sometimes we are drinking juices, milk, etc. So what is the difference between these two? A fruit is a fruit. It is solid. A juice inside a glass, as can be seen here as well, is a liquid. So what are these? Basically all these are matter. They occupy space and they have weight. Similarly, if you look around yourself right now, you will see table, chair, pencil, notebook, etc. All these are matter because all these occupy space and have weight. Now let us understand what matter is made up of. All matter is made up of tiny materials which are known as molecules. Now the most amazing part is that if I consider this pen, then all the molecules inside this pen will be similar to each other, whereas all the molecules inside this board will be similar to each other, but the molecules inside the pen and the board will be totally different from each other. Now we have learnt about molecules, we have learnt about matter. Now what are the different states of matter that we were talking about? So there is a table in front of you, there is a bottle of water in front of you, and there is a fan running right on top. So we see that table is a solid, water is a liquid, and the air from the fan is a gas. Now let us understand these three states of matter in detail. The table that we were talking about is known as a solid. Imagine four of your friends holding hands very tightly together and not letting each other go. Similar is the case of the molecules within solids. They hold each other very strongly. There is very little space in between the molecules. This is why solids have a fixed shape. And also, when you apply force on a solid, you will break the solid. It will not be able to change its shape. Now, coming to the second kind of matter, liquids. If you look at the molecules inside the liquid, they have more space in between them as compared to the molecules in the solids. Now, because of this space, the liquids are easily flowing here and there. They also take the shape of the vessel that you put them in. The third important state of matter is known as gases. Now, gases have a very different way of functioning. Unlike the solids and the liquids, the gases have a lot of free space between their molecules. This is why gases flow freely from one place to another. An example is when somebody in your house applies perfume in one corner of the house, you can smell it at the other corner. This is because the molecular space in the gas molecules is very large. They can move freely from one place to another. Also, gases will take the shape of the object they are filled in. Coming now to change of state of matter. We know that there are three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. Is it possible to change solid to liquid, liquid to gas and vice versa? Let us see here with the help of an experiment. We are taking here the example of an ice cube. An ice cube is a solid. So when a solid is heated, the process is known as melting. It converts into liquid. When a liquid is heated, it evaporates, forming a gas. Now the reverse process is also possible. If you cool down a gas by probably placing a plate on top of this beaker, condensation happens. Because of this condensation, you will see beads of water droplets formed on the plate. Now if you cool this water once again, you will get solid ice. which is called freezing. So here you see that we can comfortably change one state of matter into another. Now let us understand another very interesting relationship between solids and liquids. It is known as solute, solvent and solution. So for example, you take a glass of water and you mix salt in it. What do you get? A mixture of salt and water. This mixture is called a solution. The water in this case will be known as a solvent, and the salt in this case will be known as a solution. Similarly, you can create a solution of sugar and milk. You can also create a solution of sugar and water. Now, having learnt about how to make solutions, let us understand if there is a way in which you can separate substances. So, we know that salt dissolves in water. Salt is soluble in water. Salt is a soluble substance. But if you take the example of mud, can you mix mud in water? No, you cannot. This is because mud is an insoluble substance. In case of insoluble substances, you can separate the mud from water. Let us understand the process by which we do it. The first process is known as filtration. In case of filtration, the mixture of mud or sand in water is allowed to fall through a filter paper, and the solution is then converted into the solvent and the solute. That means the solvent, which is clean water, will accumulate at the bottom of the flask, and the solute, that is the stand, will remain in the filter paper. We use the same process at home when we are straining tea. The tea leaves are on the top of the strainer and the tea is collected in the cup below it. The next interesting method of separating solute from solvent in case of insoluble solutes is called sedimentation and decantation. So when a solution of water and mud is allowed to stand for some time, the mud or the sand begins to settle at the bottom. This process is called decantation, and later on the water from the top can be simply poured out of the container. This is called decantation. So in this chapter we have learnt about the three different states of matter. We have learnt about their properties, and we have learned which can have a fixed shape and which can flow easily. In this chapter, we have also learned about changing different states of matter, separating solutions, and we have learned about soluble and insoluble solvents. Thank you so much.